different view today. I'm sitting in my truck, raining in Houston. I got a lot of shit to do as always, so I figured why not make this video. It's about information, not really about, background and all that shit. Who cares? So today's video, we are talking about Ecto-Meso. I got my other phone in front of me for notes. Ecto-Meso, what you need to know. So this is our blend body type. So we're talking about the people who may be naturally on the slimmer side, but they do have mesomorph qualities about them. So these are people who, if they're weight training or if they're resistance training, they tend to put on muscle rather quickly, or at least at a balanced or decent pace, even though they still may maintain that naturally trim or naturally slim type of body tone or body mass index, or whatever, however you want to classify it on paper. These are people who are going to be fit, but they're not going to get overly big, or they don't really have the potential to pack on a lot of girth or additional mass, or hold a lot of water or a lot of additional fat. Of course, anything is possible, but like I said, we're just talking about the natural tendencies of each body type. So today we'll be talking about a more in-depth look, or digging into a more in-depth look for Ecto-Meso. So we'll go ahead and jump into it. The number one thing you need to know about Ecto-Mesomorph is that you have the leverage or ability to mix volume training and absolute training. So what that means is that as an Ecto-Meso, unlike the true Ectomorph, you can see results from absolute training. So you can see results from strictly power training. So you can see you can do the 3 to 5 repetition range and see results or see growth on top of your strength increase as well. Will you see as much growth as the Meso or Endomorph? Maybe, maybe not. Those are some genetic factors that play into it, but you can see growth by training for absolute strength or training for power development in that way. I would say that because you still maintain some of the genetics, or what's the word I'm looking for? I'll just leave it at traits. I won't try to get too fancy. If you still have some of the traits with an Ecto-Meso to still be more on the naturally slimmer side, remember, you're still going to need some of that volume training built in to your workout plan or workout regimen. So I would prefer, or I would suggest, that you mix it up throughout the week. So one week can be your bodybuilding day, where you're doing or focusing more on volume training or a lot of sets and reps with moderate weight to really get that, high level of contraction for those micro tears. And then maybe 2 or 3 days out of that week, you focus on your power development. So this is what you'll see a lot of off-season strength programs in regards to football players, track and field athletes, sometimes even basketball players as well. You'll see them train this way because, once again, you're working with that type of body type a lot in those settings, and this has been proven to be the best way to train to maintain size, maintain health of connective tissue, build power and strength, and still have some of that nice aesthetic size and weight and muscle mass growth that you'll need for those sports, or just to look nice, if you're not, necessarily an athlete. So I would suggest you mix your absolute training for strength and power, and also some high volume training for your aesthetics or muscle hypertrophy, so that you can have a healthy balance, because, you are in theory a balance, So, next one is going to be, you have the option of lifting before you do cardio, but remember, you still need to keep this at a high intensity, or at a high intensity rate or high intensity pace, or you need to make sure that you don't go and lift weights and then go out and run fucking 2 or 3 miles. You still need to be making sure that if you're gonna lift, like, let's say, just from a football perspective, we're gonna lift weights in the morning, then we're gonna go outside and we're gonna run routes, or we're gonna run gases, or we're gonna run sprints. It's still really high intensity. Or we're gonna work on, back pedals and brakes, or just something in like a very short distance, still very explosive, because we're still putting that same type of tension on the muscle. So we're not going from being super powerful, super explosive, super strong, to being super low intensity, just jogging around, walking the park type shit. You still have to put the same type of tension on your body, you know, from the frame of being an ectomorph or having ectomorph traits. But remember, because you're a mesomorph and your body is a little bit more responsive in regards to growth and muscle mass, you do have the option of lifting or doing resistance training before you tap into some things as far as like cardio, or, you know, doing your sprints or working on your sport, or maybe even lifting in the morning and then going to, you know, play like a leisure basketball game later that evening or something like that. So as far as putting on muscle, maintaining health of your connective tissue, increasing your muscle mass, you do have the option to lift before you jump into some type of cardiovascular activity, or strictly cardiovascular activity as far as running around, jumping around, you know what I mean? All right. And then our last one today is you do have the option, just like the ectomorph, you know, to eat, you know, carbs, and carbs are your friend for the most part. But remember, with you, because you still have some of that ectomorph going on with you, you want to make sure that your carbs remain clean, or as clean as possible. So, you know, we never want to encourage people to eat bad carbs, so I don't want to tell my strict ectomorphs to where, you know, you can probably get away with eating Snickers and M&Ms and Rice Krispie treats and, you know, a bunch of white bread and potatoes, because of course that is not, you know, that wouldn't be the optimal health conscious thing to do. So I would never prescribe that to anybody. But hey, we're all human, shit happens. So for my true ectomorphs, if those things tend to happen, know that you're probably going to use or burn off a lot of that energy, or you're going to be using that energy in your workout. For our Ecto-Meso blend, if you eat those things, you'll notice that you can still use those things as energy and fuel. They're not the best, once again, not the best or most optimal health conscious things that you should be doing. So you want to know and understand that you do have, you know, the possibility or potential to hold on to water weight, or to store a little bit more fat, or a little bit more bad weight or negative weight than the strict ectomorph does. So as an ectomeso, you need to know that you can eat carbs, you can load up on the carbs. Those can be a very prominent part of your eating regimen, but still keep them clean, still keep them whole grain, still keep them wheat, you know, still keep them, you know, vegetables, still keep them you know, whatever, some type of supplement or something like that you're using for your carbs, you know, making sure that it goes into your diet in the most healthiest way as possible, and it's positioned to where you're not just stuffing your face, but you're still maintaining also good eating habits as well. So you're eating your 4 to 6 meals, or, you know, 3 meals, 3 snacks a day, or 4 meals, 2 snacks a day, whatever's working for you specifically. So that'll be case by case, person to person. But just like the ectomorphs, carbs are your friend, but just not any old type of carbs, not any old type of carbs for anybody. But just going back to the strict ectomorph conversation, ectomorphs can at times get away with eating poorly or eating bad because their body burns at such a high rate. As an ectomeso, your body burns at some of that high rate, but you do have the potential to hold on to more of the bad shit long term than the ecto does. So just remember, clean eating habits, good, you know, eating schedule, making sure your carbs stay clean, even if they are a high count or high carb count or high calorie count. Make sure that those carbs and calories are as clean as you can get them. All right. Hope this helps my ecto-meso blends out there. This could be a tricky subject or topic, you know, for a lot of people, just because if you have this body type, you probably struggle with going back and forth, trying to figure out what's working and not working. You know, 1 minute you looking swole and the next minute you looking skinny, and it's all confusing. Or, you know, you have ectomesos struggle a lot with, you know, trouble areas too. So you may have like a really nice chest, really nice arms, and fucking small legs, you don't know why. Or you may have big thighs, small calves, or big calves, small thighs, just whatever. So ectomeso tends to, in my opinion, be the most trickiest body type to train for or to plan for, just because you know, you're naturally skinny, but you put on muscle, but too much this way or too much that way, you know, gives you a negative effect. So because you're a blend, because you're more of that balance between ecto and meso, completely ecto and completely meso, you have to have a balanced program, balanced way of thinking, balanced habits as well. All right. So once again, hope this helps. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.